I first became aware of Sepp Uiberlacher back in the 1990s when Sepp contacted me to take photos for a Spitfire Mark 16 that was loaned from the National Aviation Museum in Ottawa, Canada to the Aviation Museum in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Later, in return for the photos, Sepp sent me a set of plans Sepp drew for a Mark 16 Spitfire at 83-inch wingspan, and going forward I followed Sepp's RC model aircraft designs. At the 2010 Top Gun contest, Sepp had the top static score with his newly designed Hawker Tempest, and there was a YouTube video of Sepp flying his Tempest, and his Tempest flew well.
The gentleman on my right is Sepp Uiberlacher, and he's from Canada. And exactly where?
From Ottawa.
From Ottawa.
For anybody who doesn't know, it's the nation's capital.
Sepp, you brought a beautiful Hawker Tempest. And what version is it?
It's a Tempest Mark V Series 1, which was the earlier variant of the Tempest. There was also a Series 2, which was not a lot different, but it had some improvements over the one, mainly in a little bit more powerful engines and hidden cannons, and some slight modifications on the undercarriage, but that was about it.
Your airplane, I understand, won top static score at Top Gun.
Yes, it did. It won top static. It also won the top craftsmanship award. So I won 2 awards with it, which is, of course, absolutely marvelous, and I'm very happy about it.
Of course, we've videotaped the static footage that our viewers are looking at right now, and I was impressed in particular by the incredible workmanship in the landing gear. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I can. Basically what I did, I looked at the undercarriage of the actual aircraft and duplicated it pretty well as it was. What I did is I designed it first, and then I machined it from mainly aluminum, except where high stress required steel.
There you have it. From Canada, Mr. Sepp Uiberlacher. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You wonder sometimes how important are good flight scores. Well, here's a perfect example to answer that question. This astounding piece of work with a high static of 96.8 did not finish in the top 5. He had a very respectable 88 average flight score, which is good enough, to win anywhere, or almost win anywhere, and yet he was out of the top 5. But he did win the Best Craftsmanship Award, as Warner mentioned, which was $500 in a cash and gift certificate from ProMark. He also won a $200 trophy, a cash donation of $200 and a trophy from Glenn Torrance Models. Next year he'll be flying a Spitfire, by the way. Anyway, 21 pounds, 1/6 scale. I think he finished in 20th place or so. It's just too bad, but I'm sure he'll do better.
Sepp's Hawker Tempest build was a featured article in the April 1996 edition of Model Airplane News magazine. Sepp was a top RC scale competitor in his day. So, with that in mind, I knew that one day I would build a Hawker Tempest from Sepp's plans, but there were a few other Warbird projects in the queue, and my Tempest build would be sport scale. Earlier I had obtained plans and parts for a 80-inch wingspan Tempest drawn by Vito Tomeo. I was able to incorporate the cowl and spinner into my Uiberlacher Tempest build, and I went with the Uiberlacher design because it was bigger along the size of my top flight P-51s, and I had a spare DLE-55 gas engine on the shelf. Halfway through my Uiberlacher Tempest build, I received a gift from Sepp, his retractable undercarriage from his original Hawker Tempest that had crashed a few years ago, but the landing gear was undamaged. Sepp was a watchmaker by trade and had made his Tempest landing gear from scratch. The workmanship and detail on the landing gear is outstanding. I incorporated Sepp's landing gear legs into the Sierra landing gear blocks I had already installed in my build. I started my Uiberlacher Hawker Tempest build in December 2023 by cutting out all the wood parts and making a kit. On the internet there were 2 excellent Uiberlacher Tempest builds done by John Ransom and Tony Waters, both in the UK. These builds were an immense help in my Tempest build. My build incorporated a bit of Vito Tomeo's design as well, as I sheeted around the half fuselage formers to make one side of a clamshell fuselage and then join the 2 fuselage halves together. The wing was built according to the Uiberlacher plan. One of the main points in any of my Warbird builds is what color scheme or markings to paint the model in. Quickly I found out that legendary RCAF Ace Wing Commander James Stocky Edwards had flown the Hawker Tempest Mark V with the Royal Air Force 274 Squadron in late 1944, so that was the paint scheme I would use. I also have a Sky Shark P-40 Warbird also in stocky Edwards marking, so that would go well with the Tempest. By December 2024 the airframe was completed and covered with 3/4-ounce glass cloth and Z-epoxy. The airframe was primed with gray rattlespray and primer, and the latex color household paint was applied with an airbrush. I made my decals on my inkjet printer on self-stick inkjet vinyl sheets. The DLE-55 gas engine run was done in my backyard in April 2025. On May 23, 2025 we headed to the IRC-MC model airfield at Gimli, Manitoba, Canada, where we were going to camp and fly for a few days. The weather was ideal for a maiden flight, clear blue skies and a light wind from the east coming right down the runway. The Tempest was assembled, the engine was started and a successful radio range check was completed. A couple of taxi tests were done to see how the Tempest rolled on its wheels.
We have the Hawker Tempest from Sepp Uiberlacher Flans out at Gimli, Manitoba at the Interlake Radio Controlled Model Club. IMCRC, the initials are for that. Just got it assembled. It's 83-inch wingspan, DLE-55 side exhaust for power, Sepp Uiberlacher retracts with Sierra gear blocks, Z-epoxy finish with latex house paint on it. I made my own decals on an inkjet printer, 2210 prop. Taxi test. Taxi's pretty nice. The wind's just in a bad spot right now. It's from the southeast, southeast. So, oh yeah, she's gonna fly. We'll shut everything down. The wind is supposed to calm down and turn back into the east. So we'll wait an hour or so, and we'll give it a try. Down the runway, eh? Yeah. Last control check, right aileron, left aileron, up, down, right rudder, left rudder.
Do left aileron again.
Well, it's good to check.
Most people do forward check too.
Yeah.
Hang on.
Right. Two clicks of up. A click of right. Another 2 clicks of up. Yeah. I just got to turn around, land, and check for loose bits.
Landing. C2 gear.
Flat.
Put her right on the numbers, eh? Puts it right on the
I don't
numbers.
think you had a foot to spare. man.
Got about this much at the end of the runway. I was like,
Well, yeah.
you want to make sure you're using all that.
Right there.
Well, as you can see from the video, the Maiden went well. Thanks to my spotter Mark S and to Arn K for cutting the grass the day before. The Gimli Field is a great place to do maiden flights on your big birds. The DLE 55 has more than enough power. The model was a bit nose heavy. I had to add 3 pounds of lead in the nose to balance, and I think I can take out at least 4 ounces of nose weight. In mounting the Sierra retract blocks with the Uiberlacher struts, the retract blocks ended upright against the upper wing skin. The second landing was a bit hard on touchdown as the engine was starting to overheat, and I cut the flight short and the thump on landing cracked the upper wing skins, a minor fix in the shop. The DLE 55 was richened up and the third flight was much better. The third landing was greased in. Thank you for watching this video. Check the comments for the link to the Uiberlacher Facebook group page. If you like my Ken Air 18 RC and aviation videos, please like and subscribe.